Well, good morning. It's November 1st on my way into work, and learned that in the last video that my bank sends text messages at 7 o'clock, which cut off the last video. So just a little update as to what happened on Friday and throughout the weekend. Excuse me. This weekend, I managed to get 4/5 of the way through the Wealth 101 book, so I'm on step number 85, I believe, and there's only 101 steps in there. It was a little frustrating, this little push through, because it talked a lot about entity structuring in order to protect your assets, and of course when you don't have assets to protect, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. You know, are you supposed to wait until you get the assets before you set up the entities? Are you supposed to set up the entities before you get the assets? Plus, the person that I'm learning all this stuff through went to jail for tax evasion. So it raises a lot of questions, because I know a lot of wealthy people use these type of entities to protect themselves, so that in case they get sued, and to prevent everything being taken away from government taxes upon death. How do you structure it so that it will take care of the family for the rest of their lives, and it could be a perpetual thing if the siblings decide to keep this going. If they decide to take all this information and apply it themselves and keep growing that wealth, then it could take care of generations upon generations. So as far as making extra income, this last week I made a lot of extra income through the day job, but the supplementary income was diminished. Part of that was because this weekend some of that time was dedicated towards helping out a friend in doing some consulting work, which will be applied towards the engine that we're putting into the Dodge Grand Caravan, and that was frustrating, but yet at the same time we made some progress. So I was able to free up some of Fabio's free time and help him to make some progress, solve some of his problems. But I didn't know that there was an underlying problem with the laptop that he had, so I ended up taking that whole laptop apart, which is probably only the second or third laptop that I've ever taken apart, to only find that the cooling fan wasn't working. So I think they're going to opt just to go on out and get a refurbished computer, which is one of my suggestions. Get a desktop computer, something that's more stable for their shop, so that they can start working on other systems and not have to worry about their computer system being down. As far as that supplemental income, I opted, because it was Halloween weekend, which I don't really care for Halloween that much. I opted that doing night driving through neighborhoods with little ones around, trying to make as much money as possible, was too much risk to endure. And so I opted to stay home this weekend and spend some time with the grandchild, and with Aaron, and with Tracy. So this morning my plans are to knock out the rest of the Wealth 101 book, to continue the progress that was made on Friday in the Smart Money book, and that should hopefully be completed today. I'm planning on going onto Amazon.com and buying 2 books of the 1 Minute Manager, one so that I can have it in the library, and the second is to give to Fabio as a gift. A couple other books that I'm going to be purchasing is all about technical indicators, which is something that has to be learned, and all about candlesticks. And of course that means reading those books, taking the notes down on those books, but I don't know that that's going to be something that I got to complete before finalizing this note-taking process because that's going to be an ongoing endeavor. I will always be reading books and always be taking notes and trying to apply those different strategies and techniques into my current trading styles that will be revealed after condensing all these notes into strategies. So I'm biting at the bit. I want to start jumping into this TC2000 and take some of these notes and make them into steps so that I can create scans. And this is all the beginning of starting to create a process so that once we get over this holiday hump of Tracy's birthday, Christina's birthday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and the repairing of the Dodge Grand Caravan, any of the additional supplemental income that I'm able to bring into the family is going to be dumped into the trading accounts, and that should really supercharge this whole process. So I'm really looking forward to that, because that could be anywhere from $500 to $1,200 every week that gets thrown into the brokerage account. So that's anywhere from $2,000 to $4,800, or let's say $2,000 to $5,000 that could be put into the brokerage account, or the equivalent of $24,000 to $60,000 per year. And then, like I was saying before, with that millionaire strategy of just having to make 1% on your money, that was with a static $1,000 or $2,000. And when you're supercharging that with an additional $24,000 to $60,000 per year, then things are really going to start happening. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm also looking forward to really becoming an expert at minimizing my losses. I realize that I am going to take losses, but this allows me to not fester on the fact that I took a loss, and therefore it just really makes you believe that this is really going to happen. So I've got a couple other books that are ready to be transferred from notes into the computer system, and today I may be able to start bringing this stuff over into OneNote. I'm trying to figure out what the best process is for bringing this stuff in. I may take the entire document, throw it into a tab, and with the book title, and then just copy and paste that stuff into other tabs to start breaking this stuff down into action steps. OneNote also allows you to put little check marks next to stuff that you've actually completed, or things that you've marked as action items. So I'm thinking that may be the best way. That also keeps the notes that are in Word intact, and doesn't mean that I'm destroying all the work that I've already done. That means that Word document that is usually about 1/4 to 1/5 the size of the actual book, of the cream of that book, it means that if I want to speed read that book again, I don't have to plow through 200 pages. I can just plow through the 50 pages, for instance. And so that also, again, is, I think, a good plan. And then, like I said, if I can take all these notes into OneNote, then I could also share those OneNote notes. Sorry, I'm having a difficult time coming up with the proper verbiage. Once I take the stuff that's inside of OneNote, it would would just be a lot easier, I think, to separate those into possible categories. Those different categories would be things like mindset, strategy, techniques, warnings. So I'll let you know when I've come up with the different category breakdowns as to how it is that I plan on breaking this down. But this is part of the development of systems, and when you actually take things in life and break them down into systems, then it just makes things run a lot easier, makes it simpler, it makes it duplicatable, so that anybody can walk in behind me and still apply those same steps without me actually having to be there. So again, that's exciting. One other note before I end this, went to go do a car wash this weekend. Saturday was frustrating because I noticed that I went to go get an oil change, which for me happens every month or every 2 months because of the number of miles that I drive. And Volkswagen Beetle was about $125 to have the oil changed. I went to Jiffy Lube and got there at 7 o'clock. They were supposed to open up at 7:30, only to be told that there was only one employee there and therefore they couldn't do my car. So I went to a different Jiffy Lube and got it taken care of, was on the road by 8 o'clock, and then I had gone over to Fabio's to go work on his stuff. But that raised the question, why am I paying $125 and is there a better way? So that's part of what I do all the time. I'm always sitting here going, is there a better way? Can I get it cheaper? Can I do it faster? Can I get on the road? Because when I'm not on the road driving, I usually like to start doing the supplemental income about 7 o'clock in the morning on the weekends, but the weekends is the best time to probably get the oil change done. So when I went to get the car washed, back to that, they have the ability to do oil changes there at the car wash. So talking to them, they have a synthetic blend, which would, in a sense, buy 6, get 1 free, and it would cost a little over $600 to do that, which is probably the equivalent of what I'm already paying at Jiffy Lube, but they open up at 7 o'clock, or they have a 50-50 synthetic blend or a semi-synthetic blend. I don't know if it's 50-50, but it would only cost $125, and since I'm driving so many miles, it's not like that oil is going to be sitting there for that long, so why would I need to opt for that full synthetic blend when the oil gets changed just that frequently? So that costs, I think, $170 or something along those lines. A lot cheaper, be able to get in and out within 30 minutes, and they open up at 7 o'clock. Plus, I get a free car wash with the oil change. So I think that's the path that we're going to end up taking. That'll help to reduce the liability and give me all the service needs that I need to be able to maintain the vehicle and keep it clean at the same time. So making progress. Never going to be able to really tell you that I'm done because I have an attitude of learning and the desire to continually be learning. So usually if I'm sitting down and the temptation is to do nothing, if I'm at that state, it's usually take a nap time, or it's time to jump into the books or go learn something so that I can apply these different techniques and change our lives. So I look forward to giving you an update tomorrow, and I think the last part of this Wealth 101 book is more on like You Inc. It's more about your mindset and your attitude. So I should be able to plow right through that, jump into the smart money, note-taking process, and have some free time to be able to start moving these documents over into OneNote. So look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Love you. Goodbye.